जाह्नवी देवी हेताय कृपाब्धे कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमढ्य श्री रूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौरा करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ते दीनतारिणे रूपानुगा विरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तद्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बारसाम्बोधे आदाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगावराय ते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्देशना सज्जनप्रियः वैष्णवः सार्वभौमः श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषै नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सरतोत्पंग आनंदमदेर्गति वत्सवदां भोजो राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्य वृंदारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः राधा श्रील गोविंद देवो प्रश्रालविसेव्यमानं स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भे वंशीवट जगत्स्थितः कर्षं वेणुसुनीर्गोपी विनाथः श्रियेष्टुनः तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So we were in the fourth canto, chapter 20th, text number 29. Prithu Maharaj is expressing his heart of pure devotional service, especially a kind of Veera Rasa, where he's saying, "Oh Lord, you should take my side when there is a quarrel between me and my mother, Jagannatha. So, like you have taken my side, now with quarrel with Indra, the same way you should also take my side. Anyhow, she may be very great, but ultimately you are with me. So, sa eva dishnan aviratasya kim taya. I have your power behind me. So why I require anybody else? Kind of, he is having some kind of subtle competition with Lakshmi. So 29th verse onwards. भजन्यता त्वां मतयेव साधवो यदास्तमाया गुणभे प्रमोद्ययम् भवत्पदानुस्मरणाकृते सतां निमित्तमन्यत् भगवान् न विद्महे। Bhajanti atatvam atayeva sadhavo. The devotees, they worship you. What do you do? Vidastamaya guna vibramodayan. You destroy the illusion, maya, created by the modes of material nature. So for such devotees, Bhavat Padanusmarana Rite Satam. For such devotees, except remembering your lotus feet, except the remembrance, Padanusmarana Rite, Nimittamanyat Bhagavan Vidmahe. What is the purpose? The purpose of worshipping you is what? To remember you. So there is no other purpose of worshipping you other than thinking of your lotus feet. Somebody may say, oh, you are worshipping. So every day worship is some result, something in mind. I worship you because of this. Then the Maharaj says, the pure devotees, the result of worship is remembering your lotus feet. Hey, people worship so that they can get some happiness. What is this remembrance? No, the remembrance of your lotus feet gives so much of happiness, which surpasses all kinds of happiness. So, the devotees worship you only for the remembrance of lotus feet. You chant for more chanting. You worship for more worshiping. You remember for more remembering. Like sometimes somebody calls you. Says, oh, I just remembered you. What is the purpose? There will be some purpose. I just remember for the sake of remembering. Then I say, right, don't tell lies, tell something is there. Huh? Somebody all of a sudden comes and gives worships you. Hey, why are you worshipping? No, just say worshiping so that I can remember you. So Krishna is like that. What purpose? Read the purpose.
The Karmis are generally engaged in creative activities for material bodily comforts. Mechanics, however, are disgusted with searching after material comforts. They understand that they have nothing to do with this material world being spiritual. After self-realization, the mechanics were actually naturally their knowledge must surrender under the lotus feet of the Lord, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita. Self-realization is not complete unless one comes to the devotional path. Therefore, this dependency on how the rule Atma self-satisfied are free from all contaminations of the material modes of nature. As long as one is affected with the modes of material nature, especially the rajas and tamas, will be very greedy and lustful and will engage in hard tasks, laboring all day and night. Such false egoism carries one from one species of life into another perpetually, and there is no rest in any species of life. The Jnani understands this fact and therefore suggests work and takes the karma service. Yet, this is not actually the platform of satisfaction. After self-realization, the natural wisdom of Jnani leads him to the center of the lotus feet of the Lord. Then he is satisfied only contemplates the lotus feet of the Lord constantly. So Maharaj therefore concluded that liberated persons take to devotional path and virtue and the ultimate goal of life. If liberation were the end in itself, there is no question of a liberated person speaking to devotional values. In other words, the transcendent is derived from self-realization, known as Atmananda, is very significant. The presence of bliss derived from devotional service to the Lord is about. So Maharaj therefore concluded that he will simply hear of the glories of the Lord constantly, and thus engage his mind upon the Lord with the Lord and with the highest of them.
Next. Manye Manye Gidante Jagatam Vimohitni Varam Rishijve Devajantam Matatet Vachanudantya Yadite Janosita Katam Punakkarma Karodi Mohita. So Manye Giramte Jagatam Vimohitam. What did you say? Oh, please choose some benediction. Is that what? Varam Vinishveti. What did he say? Choose some benediction. So, Manye, I think, Giramte, the words spoken by you, what are the words? Varam Vinishveti. You choose some benediction. That was your words. These words, they Jagatam Vimohitam, Vimohinim. What do? They are very much bewildering. very bewildering to the devotees, especially. Bhajantam atayat. Especially, it's bewildering to the entire world, especially for those who are devotees, it is bewildering. Because there are so many allurements given by the Vedas. Vacha, Tantya, Yadite, Janmostita, Katam Punak, Karma Karoti Mohita. So the allurements you offer in the Vedas are certainly not suitable for pure devotees. In the Vedas, it is described. Karma Karoti Mohita. It is in the Vedas, it is said, if you do this karma, you will get good wife. If you do this karma, you will go to Swarga and enjoy. If you do this karma, you will get Soma. Do this thing, then you will get this thing. So the allurements you offer in the Vedas are certainly not suitable for me, and these are not suitable for devotees. People in general, bound by the sweet words of the Vedas, engage themselves again and again in the fruitive activities, enamored by the results in action. So, Vacha Anutantya Idite Janostita. Katam Punak Karma Karodi Mohita. Already you have put people in delusion. What is the delusion? By speaking the Veda, by giving the Veda, this karmic thing you already put in delusion. Now, you personally saying that please, we get some benediction. That is now bewildering to those people who have given up the Vedas, given up Karma Kanda. So please don't speak like that. Otherwise, your devotees will be bewildered. Again, they think is another bhakti is also another Karma Kanda. So please read the purport.
She another version of the great aspect of the Vedas of Shiva. I said that the persons who are very much attached to the elements of the Vedas, mainly Kamal and Vyam, are certainly doing. The Vedas, there are three categories of activities known as Karmakanda, Jnanakanda, and Upasana. Those who are engaged in Karmakanda and Jnanakanda are doing in the sense that everyone is doing who is entrapped by this body, whether it is a body of a demigod, a king, or a lover, or whatever. The subjects of the four necessities of the nature are the same for all. Cultivation of knowledge to understand our spiritual position is also to a certain extent a waste of time. Because the entity is an important part of our sensitive law, his immediate business is to engage himself in the devotional service. The Big Maharaj therefore says that the development of mental meditations is required to entangle all this material world. He therefore frankly tells the Lord that the Lord's offerings of meditations in the form of material facilities are certainly causes of development. A pure devotee is Karta, Krishna, and Bhakti or Bhakti. The Lord sometimes offers meditations to the purified devotees who have not yet understood that the material facilities is not and on him. The Chaitanya Chaitanya Lord therefore says that a sincere devotee who is not very ancient may ask some material benefit from the Lord. But the Lord being omniscient does not generally give material reward, but on the contrary, takes away whatever material facilities are being enjoyed by his devotee, so that ultimately the devotee will completely surrender to him. In other words, the offering of meditations in the form of material offer is never auspicious for the devotee. The statements of the Vedas, which offer the elevation to the higher planets in exchange for the great sacrifice, are simply believable. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita 140, Lord says, Yam imam Vaidya Amvasi, Bhagavad Gita, Balasinti Klasapna, Vipashitaha, attracted by the flower language of the Vedas, engage in activities to become a technical activity. Thus, the continued life of the life and different body forms of such research very hard.
Now, with the Maharaj, 31st verse. Pammayayatha janayesha kandito yadanyadasha kripatmano buddha yata palahitam pita swayam tata tamevārhasi na sammakritam. Tam mayayadha janaisha kandito yadanyad asha Taritatmano Buddha. Abuddha means foolish people. What they do? Ritatmano Ashastaha. They are affected by Maya. And what they do? They ask, Maya because of being affected by Maya. Janayesha Ganditaha. So they ask something else other than you. For worshipping, they will choose something else. Because they don't know what is the benefit. Yatha charet balahitam pita swayam tata tvam yevarasi na samitam. So if you ask your devotees, yes, what benediction you want? Because of their greed or some previous sanskars, they may ask something which is not in their benefit. That is why, Lord, don't give this option at all. You choose what is best for the devotee and directly give. Lena hai to lo, mat lo, bas. Don't give options. If you give option, then gone. Like a father would hit the child. What is best for the child? Father acts the benefit. Tata eva hasi naha samskritam. Balahitam. Yata charet balahitam pita swayam. Swayam tata tam eva hasi. Whatever is required for them. Samihitam. Samihitam. Act in such a way. Please act on my behalf. So, read the purport. Up to such an extent? Waste of time. Yeah. Waste of time. Cultivation of knowledge. Here means cultivation of impersonal knowledge. Studying Bhagavad Gita is not cultivation of knowledge. It is bhakti. Because sometimes dharma means bhakti. Sometimes jnana also means bhakti. 9th chapter. What is that? First verse. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Dhammatvam Pratyakshavagamam Dharmyam. So that dharma refers to what? Your devotions. Pratyakshavagamam Dharmyam Sugam Patrimapayam. Next verse. Yeah, 9th chapter. Idam today, Guhyatamam. Jnana. What is it jnana there? Bhakti. Yeah. So, sometimes jnana means bhakti, and many a times jnana refers to impersonal knowledge. So, the word there, knowledge, it doesn't refer to study of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Don't use that thing saying that, oh, this bhakti wave is all waste of time. You're too much, 4 hours a day, it's not, it's just waste of time. Then what do you want to do? How does it chant and be happy? So chant. So go and chant for 4 hours. Bhakti class is better. So. So, please, got it?
It is the duty of the son to depend upon his father without asking anything from him. The good son has failed that the father knowing cares for to how to benefit him. Similarly, a pure devotee does not ask anything from the Lord for personal benefit, nor does he ask anything for spiritual benefit. The pure devotee is always is fully surrendered onto the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord takes charge of him. I started to the Lord Gita, 1846. Among Swam Sarva Vipro, Moksha is Swami. The Father knows the necessities of the Son and supplies them, and the Supreme Lord knows the necessities of the living entities and supplies them. Therefore, the Upanishad states that everything in this material world is complete, Purnam. The difficulty is that due to forgetfulness, the living entities create unnecessary demands and entangle themselves in material activities. The result is that there is no end to material activities in life of life. Before us, there are varieties of living entities, and everyone is entangled in migrations and activities. Our duty is to simply to surrender on the simple perspective God and let Him take charge. For He knows that what is good for us. Because Maharaj therefore tells that the Lord that as the Supreme Father, He may elect to bestow whatever He considered beneficial for the people on earth. That is the perfect position of the living being. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya teaches us in his Shiksha कवितां भारती सीतां मम जन्मनि जन्मनिश्चरे भवतां भूते भयति त्वयि. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor have I any desire to become beautiful, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your boundless emotional service in my life, but of the body. The conclusion is that the pure devotee should not aspire any material benefit from devotional service, nor should he be enamored by fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. He should always be engaged purely in the service of the Lord. That is the highest operation of life.
So the prayers are over, and Prithu Maharaj says that, oh Lord, don't ask us to decide what we want. You decide what we want. And then even don't even ask further. And I want to give you this. Is it okay? Even that also don't ask. You decide and just give it. If you want, give. Don't want, don't give. But you decide whether to give or not. Even if you want to give something, what you want, you decide because you know the best what is required for us.
Bhakti, we have the free will. He's saying, so what principle is saying that whether you want to take it as free will or what exactly is that way? Generally, free will is Bhakti.
Yeah, free will means that you choose to surrender. Prithu Maharaj chose to surrender. And that is also one of the will. To surrender to the will of the Lord is also one of the wills. Isn't it? So, surrendering the free will is the ultimate surrender. So, the Lord has given free will, you surrender that free will. One can give up many things, but giving up independence. That is why even after giving up big job, big properties, big positions, but still it comes to giving up the free will. So Smita Maharaj actually sacrifices free will. Your will is my will. Chalo. Maitreya Uvacha. Yadirajen anutas vishwadrik tamaharajan maibhaktirastude. Ishtyet maite pritayaya mayam diyam taradis swadushyayam. Ityadi in Adiraja, Nutaha, being praised by Prithu Maharaj, who is Adiraja. Vishwadrika, Krishna who is Vishwadrik, who sees the entire universe. Tamaha, he spoke, Rajan. What did he say? My bhakti rastu me. What was the benediction? My bhakti astu me. Astute. My bhakti astute. Let there be bhakti to me. Then what did he say? Ah, Ishte, Drishide, Maide, Kritaya. Maya Madiyam Tarati Smadustyajan. Mayam Tarati. Madiyam Mayam Tarati. You will cross over my Maya, which is Dustyajan, very difficult to sarvam. Dustyajan, very difficult. So that Maya you will cross over by Drish, Drishi. What is the meaning? Drish, Drishi. Drishtya, Idrishi. By great fortune, by good fortune, what are you going to do? Cross over. So Maya, very difficult to cross over. The most difficult thing, the most auspicious thing is to give up everything and then surrender to me, by which you can cross over Maya. Okay? Read the purchase.
It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, wherein the Lord also claims that the illusory energy is insurmountable. No one can transcend the illusory energy of Maya by truly activity, speculative philosophy, or mystical level. The only means for transcending illusory energy is devotion service. As the Lord himself states, Ma me Kapajandi Maya me not Karanti, witness Karanti. If one wants to cross over the ocean of material existence, there is no alternative than to pay to devotion service. The devotee therefore should not care for any material provision, whether in heaven or in hell. The pure devotee should always engage in service of the Lord. That is his real application. Simply by staying to that position, one can overcome the spiritual loss of material nature.
Next. Tattvam guru maya dishtam apramatta prajapade madade jagaro lokaha sarvatrapnoti shobhanam. Tattvam guru maya dishtam. Maya dishtam. My adesha, my instruction. I instruction, Kuru, do it. Maya dishtam. How apramatta? What is the meaning of apramatta? Without inattention. With great attention, you should do. Great attention. Apramatta. Madade jagaro roga sarvatrapno dishobanam. So you protect the population with great attention. And follow my instructions. Anybody who follows my instructions, Madadesha Karo Lokaha, Sarvatrapno Pisho. What do they attain? Shobhanam. They attain highest benefit. They attain highest benefit. Sarvatrapno Pisho. Next verse. Maitreya Uvacha. Iti Vainasya da Rajesh Rajarshe Pratinandhyarthavat vacha Uchito Vigeetavinam Gantum Chakre Chudomatim. Iti Vainyasya Rajarshe, accepting the Pratinandhyarthavat vacha. Arthavat vacha. Prithu Maharaj's words were Arthavat, meaning very Arthavat. Rajarshi, the sages among him, being worshipped by him. After Pujito Anugrahit Tava Vainam, after showing Anugraha to Prithu Maharaj, Dantum Chakrichuto Matim. So the Lord decided to leave. Then at that time, what happened? When the Lord was leaving, they were Shivitri Gandharva Siddha Charana Vannaga Indarapsaro Bhaktya Bhaga Bhutanyane Yagneshwarya Vagvikanjali Bhaktita Vatsavadathaya Sarve Ekunha Vatstada. Great Bhakti Prithu Maharaj worshipped others also were there. He worshipped Devatas, Vitrus, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Charanas, Nagas, Kinnaras, Apsaras. Humans, great humans were also there. The birds and other living entities, folded hands. By his words, he worshipped them. Nice sweet words he gave. And also Vag Vitta. Vitta means by wealth. Vitta. Anjali Bhakti Taha. They were, how did he do that? Sarve Vaikuntanugataha Tata. He worshipped all of them, considering them as what? Vaikuntanugata Tata. They are all Vaikuntanuga. Means followed the footsteps of Krishna. One of the names of Krishna is Vaikuntha. So he saw them as representatives of the Lord, who presented the Yajna, and also they are all followers of Krishna, devotees of Krishna. This way, he worshipped all of them. So when a devotee worships the demigods, what? Devotees, no problem. Read the purport.
In modern global scientific society, the idea is very prevalent that there is no life on other planets, but that only on this earth do living entities with intelligence and specific knowledge exist. The Vedic literatures, however, do not accept this foolish stories. The converts of Vedic wisdom are fully aware of various planets inhabited by varieties of living entities such as the demigods, the sages, the Pitas, the Gandharvas, the Chandas, the Kinnaras, the Charanas, the Siddhas, and the Apsaras. The Vedas give information that in our planets, not only within this material sky, but also in the spiritual sky, there are varieties of living entities. Although all these living entities are of one spiritual nature, in quality the same as the Supreme Personality and Godhead, they have varieties of bodies due to the embodiment of the spiritual by the and material elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and thought. In a spiritual world, however, there is no such distinction between the body and the body. In the material world, the specific features are manifested in different types of bodies in the various planets. We have full information from the Vedic literature that in each and every planet, both material and spiritual, there are living entities of very intelligence. The Earth is one of the planets after two Loka planetary system. There are six planetary systems above Loka and seven planetary systems below it. Therefore, the entire universe is known as the dust Brahmana, indicating that it has 14 different planetary systems. Beyond the planetary systems in the material sky, there is another sky which is known as 12 or the spiritual sky where there are spiritual planets. The inhabitants of those planets engage in varieties of love service and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which includes different versions or relationships, known as Asyaras, Aksharas, Vasalyaras, Madhuras, and above all, Parahyaras. These Parakiyanas or paramount love is prevalent in Krishna Loka, where Lord Krishna lives. This planet is also called Golok Vrindavan. And although Krishna lives there perpetually, he also expands himself in aliens and millions of forms. In one of such forms, he appears on this material planet in a particular place known as Vrindavan Ram, where he displays his original pastimes are Guru Vrindavan Ram in the spiritual sky in order to accept the conditions so back on right to Godhead.
Next. Bhagavan api rajarshi harandiva manusya swadhama pratyapadyata. So the Lord also, he went to his abode, but the Lord, when he appeared, Bhagavan api rajarshi Sobhadhyayasya chachuta haram nivamanusha. He had captured haram, captivated the mind of Prithu Maharaj. And not only that, there are others also who are great acharyas. Captivated the mind of everyone. He left. Adrishtaya namaskritya vipasandarhitatmane avyaktāya ca devānam devāya svapuram yayo. So Adrishtaya namaskritya, offering respects to Adrishtaya means the Lord who is now invisible to material eyes. Namaskritya. Nipa means the king, that means Prithu Maharaj. Sandarshitatmane Avyaktaya Devanam Devaya Swapuram Vayo. The king went back to his house. Who is the Supreme Lord? Avyaktaya Devanam, Supreme Lord of all demigods, although not an object of material vision, the Lord revealed himself in the sight of Maharaj Prithu. After offering obeisance to the Lord, the king returned to his home. The Lord was invisible to others, Adrishtaya, but he was visible to Prithu Maharaj. Sandarshitatmane. Everybody saw the Lord went, but Prithu Maharaj was able to see Krishna going back to heaven. This is how this chapter ends. Last chapter for this session. So, 21st chapter. Many verses. Let's see how much we can do. The descriptions are there. Chapter is entitled what? Instruction by Prithu Maharaj and citizens. Maitreya was. Muktikai Kushubhasadvihi Dukulai Swarnatorane Mahasurabbir Bhute Manditam Tatra Tatra Vai. So now what is the description of which is what is being described by these words? The city in which Prithu Maharaj is entering. Was decorated with so many wonderful what? Muktai. Then Kusuma Sradbihi garlands. Dukulai cloth. Swarnatoranai golden arches. Mahasura hair frequent Nice scents were there. Dubaihi. Scents, incenses were there. Panditam tatra tatra vai. Next. Decorations were made. Chandana Guru Yatra Rathaya Chatvara Margavat Pushpa Pushkavalai Stokvai Lajair Chirvir Rabjitam. So Chandana Aguru Goyardra Rathaya Chatvara Margavat. Chatvara Margavat means what? Chatvara. Chatvara. The marks were there. Margavat. Pushpa. Akshata. Palaihi. Togamaihi. Minerals were there. Tejaihi. Grains were there. Archipihi. Lamps were there. Architam. While walking on the roads, all these decorations were there. This is how you should decorate the temple festivals. Not with plastic flowers. Not with orchids. Orchids are stool. And we put stool on a deity with orchids. Crazy. You take the orchid and then manipulate it, put in the nose, you vomit actually. You take a any flower, daisy flower, put fragrance comes. So festival people, what they are in festival committee here, put your foot down and then say, deity department, put your foot down and say, no orchids. Go out, get like banana trees, planting everywhere. Get mango leaves, put everywhere. So you don't have to be any artist for that. You put your finger, one or say all the youth at the congregation children, make them mango leaf ka toran banao. Put 1 crore mango leaves and make toran. Engage all the congregation. Just see how beautiful it is. Everywhere mango leaves, everywhere banana leaves. That's what used to happen in our childhood, isn't it? In our villages. You spend so much of money, give contract also. It's not bhakti, it's not bhakti. I'm tired telling about this. No, bro, ये सुंदर लगना चाहिए डोनर लोग आ रहे हैं तो लाभा मारना most auspicious plantain trees. Whole trees offer to them. Very good. Mango leaves. They are all punya vrikshas. They are all papa. Gardens, orchids, and so many. These days are something else also. Some strange, crazy things they do. They are papa vrikshas. Then he will argue that no, boy, you all talk, you are South Indian, now you talk like that. How was Dwarka decorated? Huh? And your plantain trees also, Kele ka jata. Dwarka is North India only. So, fortunate that we get carried away by the modern social situation, which is infused with the obnoxious Western culture. Next. So when they Kadali Stambai, see, Kadali Stambai means what? Paran, that's how we use that. We don't find anything. No. Once in Daman, Bhuvi Pujan was there. Practically no money was there. And I told, you don't have to spend any money. Then one devotee told probably decoration was sponsored. And I told, he made a budget of 25,000. He told, I'll sponsor 25,000. And he got a contractor who came. He told, what are the flowers you're using? He told, rose we are drawing and all, he made nice. Most 80% were plastic. A very beautiful photograph of marriage service. I told, no, this is the most auspicious thing, Bhuvi Puja. I don't want plastic to come. Then he told, मैं पैसा देगा तो इसी के लिए देगा. Then it was night 9 o'clock. He told no, and all next day morning 9 o'clock he said. Then I worked decoration became hangama with hangama. So I just told two boys, just go to some night time, wherever you find Kadali Stambai, cut and bring. Whichever plant, I have big, small, don't worry about it. Say, oh, they took a tractor. And cut last. And before Mangalarti, every pandal, the bamboo, everywhere you surely find. Morning, what happened? They saw the Kadali Vanam. There. And then, of course, the mango tree is there. Night time, made somebody to get out of the mango tree. So the leaves were there. All the congregation came. They were like thinking what to do. I don't know, decoration, what is this? Some people thought we should cancel it. When people are going to come. And all of this sit down and then make mango Torah free of cost. And the same person made obeisance in Sastang Dandava. He's not getting a point. Who wanted to sponsor 25,000? Sastang Dandava. Tears in his throat. 25 लाख में भी ऐसा डेकोरेशन नहीं होता. 25 लाख में भी ऐसा नहीं होता. Just follow what is there. City was decorated everywhere with Kadali Stambai, Puga Podai. What is it? Puga Podai. Parishkitam. What is it? Puga Podai. Yes. And also Taruballavamalavi. What is it? Taruballavamalavi. Tala means leaves. Taru means very common. You make mala out of this. And then Sarvada Samarangatam. Also beetle trees. Supari flowers are beautiful become. Next. Prajastandīpa balivi sambrita mangalai abhiyurvishakanyayascha vrishka kundalamandita. So Praja tam deepa balivi sambrita mangalai Aviyur Mishtakanya. Who are they? Mishtakanya. There are two kinds of kanyas. There is Navakanya, Mishtakanya. Other one is Vruddhakanya. Those whose menstrual cycle has not started. Those kanyas, 5-6-year-old girls. And those whose menstrual cycle has stopped. Vruddhakanya, 50-year-old women. They are very auspicious. They should carry colors on their head. And then they invite, they will auspicious, they are Lakshmi actually. They approached Prithu Maharaj with lamps and many auspicious articles. Deepaihi, Balibihi, they approached. Shankadunduvikkoshena Brahmakoshena Chal Vijam Vivesha Bhavanam Veera Puyamano Gatasmin. Then they start playing what? Shanka, Punch, drums, Indubihi, Koshena, and what the Brahmanas were doing? Brahma Koshena Cha Ritvijam. Ritvija means Brahmanas. They start chanting Brahma means Vedic mantras. Vivesha Bhavanam Veera. Then Veera, the king, who is Veera, Vivesha Bhavanam, he entered his Bhavanam. Tuyamano Katasmayaha. In spite of all these things, he was not at all proud. Yes. He was all praised by many people, but he was Katasmaya. What is the meaning Katasmaya? Huh? He had no pride. If somebody praises you, you become so proud. Yes, yes, yes. In spite of all these praises, he was not at all. Great deception was given to the king, but he's very humble. It's a character of a great personality, extraordinary personality. King had no pride in spite of all the extraordinary. Next. Pujita Jayamasa Tatra Tatra Mahayasha Puran Janavadam Stam Pritaha Priyavara Pradaha. After being worshipped, Pujitaha Pujayamasa Maharaj, he gave Tatra Tatra Mahayasha. All these people, they whatever they designed, he gave benedictions to them. And Pauranam Janavadan Stan Pritaha Priyavara Pradaha. Worship the very famous, found things here and there. So Maharaj, he worshipped those respectable people who were worshipped by Prithu Maharaj. Many people worshipped him, also worshipped. So it got quote for this sixth verse.
Responsibility. A responsible king was always approachable by his citizens. Generally, the citizens, great and common, all had aspiration to see the king and take benediction from him. The king knew this, and therefore, whenever he met the citizens, he immediately fulfilled their desires or mitigated their grievances. In his dealings, a responsible monarchy is better than a so-called democratic government in which no one is responsible to mitigate the grievances of citizens who are unable to personally meet the supreme executive head. In a responsible monarchy, the citizens had no grievances against the government. Even if they did, they would approach the king directly for immediate satisfaction.
Next. Seventh verse. Sayevamadinavadyachehtita karmanuyam simahan mahattamam Purvanjanasma ikandalam yasha Tidam nidaya param padam Sa evam adini anavadya cheshpitaha. Anavadya cheshpitaha. Prithu Maharaj, who is he? Mahan Mahattama. What is the meaning of Mahan Mahattama? Huh? He is the greatest of the greatest. Mahan Mahattama. And his karmani, his activities, how are they? Anavadya Deštitaha. Anavadya means huh? Magnanimous. Performing Anavadya. Anavadya, magnanimous. Chestitaha. Karma. And he was only doing one action or what? Many actions were done which are Anavadya. And not only that, Kurvam Shashashavanimandaram Yasa. Kurvan Shashasha. He ruled Shashasha. Avanimandalam Yasha. He ruled the entire earth. And by ruling in such a way, he had fame, Yasha, which was Sweetam, which is spread everywhere throughout the world. Nidhaya Arude Parampadam. Ultimately, what happened to him? He went to Parampadam, attained the highest goal. Went to Parampadam. Read the purport.
The responsibility of the chief executive has made will be explained to energy universities. The most important duty of the monarch on the government is to perform various services and environment in the agriculture. The next duty of the king is to see that every citizen is prescribed in its foreign gains that it is community. It is the king's duty to see that everyone perfectly executes the duties prescribed for the governor and master to be the best. Besides that, as exemplified by King Mitchell, he must develop earth for the greatest possible production of good things. There are different types of great personalities. Some are positive great personalities, some comparative, and some superlative. But King Prithu exceeded all of them. He is therefore described here as Mahattama, greater than the greatest. Maharaj Prithu was a Kshatriya and he discharged his Kshatriya duties perfectly. Similarly, Brahmanas, Vaishyas, and Shudras can discharge their respective duties perfectly and thus had Maharaj Prithu was a Kshatriya and he discharged his Kshatriya duties perfectly. Similarly, Brahmanas, Vaishyas, and Shudras can discharge their respective duties perfectly and thus at the ultimate end of life be promoted to the transcendental level, which is called Parampadam. Parampadam on the variable planets can be achieved only by devotional service. The impersonal Brahman is also called Parampadam. But unless one is attached to the personality boundary, one must again fall down to the material world from the impersonal Parampadam situation. It is said therefore hardly in shame Parampadam. The impersonalist endeavor very strenuously to achieve Parampadam or impersonal relationship. Unfortunately, the indirect of a relationship with the supreme personality embodied, they come down again to the material world. If one flies in outer space, it can go very high, but unless he reaches a planet, he must come down again to Earth. Similarly, because the personalists who reach the Parampadam of the impersonal beauty do not enter into the planets. They come down, get into this world, and are even sheltered in one of the planets. Others will be again run out and separated. All such planets is in the
Next, Shikauvacha. तदाधिराजस्य यशो विजृम्भितम् पुनैरशेषे गुणवाशमादितम् शक्ता महाभागवतसत्पदे कौशारवीं प्रार्थनम् अर्चयन् पुनन्तमर्चयन् So Sutta Goswami says, "O Shaunaka Rishi, Tadadiraja Yasho Vijimrutam." After Maitreya described the details of glories of Putin Maharaj, Gune Rasesher Gunavat Shabhajitam, and all these qualities were Gunavat, the topmost gunas. Then what happened? Shatta Mahabhagavata Sadaspate Vidura, the great devotee, Vidura spoke. To whom? Vidura, Maitreya spoke. What did he speak? Vidura Vacha. So, Vipre Labdha Shesha Sura Vipratsa Vaishtavam Tejo Bahoryabhyam Sudho Agam. Vidura said, the Brahmanas, they made Vitumara sit on the throne. Abhishiktaha Prutur Vipre. Abhishiktaha means what? Enthroning. Because when you install the deity to Abhishek, the same king is also installed on the throne. Then also Abhishek is done. When Acharya becomes a Mahadi, she is also enthroned. Abhishek is done. Abhishikta Prutur Vipre Labdha Shesha Surarhanaha. Labdha Shesha Surarhanaha. Vibratsa Vaishnavam Tejaha. Ritu Maharaj received Vaishnavam Tejaha. Where? Baho. In his arms, he received the power of Vishnu. Yabhyam Yudohagam, by which he could, Yudohagam means he would meet the earth. Now, Om Yasya Kirtim Shunot Sabhijno Yad Vikramo Sishtamasesha Bhupa Loka Sabala Vajivanti Kamam Adhyapitanne Vagatarmusham Purnasya Kirtim Shruno Abhigno. Who is that person, Abhignaha, intelligent person, who has not heard the fame of glories of Maharaj? Only a fool would have not heard his glories. For now, in such an extent that Asesha Rupaha, Vikramo, Vishtam, the Devatas and other planets maintain their life with the desirable reverence produced by very touch. Lokapala, Sapa, Upajivanti Kama. What is the meaning of Upajivanti Kama? All their desires are fulfilled. The Devatas and all the planets, even for now, their lives are maintained, Upajivanti. All their desires are fulfilled just by the rule which Ritu Maharaj had been done. Now you're getting going coconut tree here. Why? Because Ritu Maharaj, what did he do? Dudoha Dam. Previous word says Dudoha Dam. Dam means he milk. Because he had milked the earth at that time, still now the earth is producing rains. So whenever you find earth is producing rains, you should think of Ritu Maharaj. Even Adhyami, Ashesha Bhupaha, Lokaha, Sapalaha, Vajivanti Kamam, Adhyami. Adhyami means even till today, even from till now. Tanme Vadat Pranavat Karma Shuddham. Please tell me about his karma, which is very pure. Vadame. Vada means what? Karma Shuddham. It's pure karma. Please read the Bhagavad.
Saint Vivekananda's purpose in getting about Guru Maharaj over and over again was to set an example for ordinary kings and executive heads You should also be inclined to hear immediately about the Maharaj activities in order to also get into your emails or states very faithfully to the peace and prosperity of the people in general. Unfortunately, at the present moment, no one cares to hear about Guru Maharaj or to follow in his footsteps. Therefore, no nation in the world is very happier and progressive in spiritual understanding. Although that is the sole aim and objective of human life.
Next. Ganga Yamunayurnadyor Antara Kshetramavasan Arathan Eva Bhuje Bhogan Punyatihasaya. Where was Pitu Maharaj's kingdom? He was living in the land between Ganga and Yamuna. Ritu, he was Antara Kshetramavasam Arabdhan Eva Bhuje. He was enjoying great enjoyment. He experienced a lot of enjoyment. Bhogan Punya Jihasaya, thinking of it as stuff by which he, what did he do? Exhausted all the pious activities, piety. So read the purport, very interesting purport.
The term bias and being bias are applicable only in reference to the activities of an ordinary living. But Maharaj Prithu was directly empowered incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, he was not subject to the reactions of bias or impious activities. As we have already explained previously, when a living being is specifically empowered by the Supreme Lord to act for a particular purpose, he is called a Satya Vesavata. Prithu Maharaj was not only a Satya Vesavata but also a great devotee. A devotee is not subjected to the reactions resulting from past deeds. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said, Karmani Vedanti in the Bhakti Bhaja. For devotees, the results of past pious and impious activities are nullified by the Supreme Personality of God. The words Arabdhan, Deva, mean as if achieved by past deeds. But in the case of Prithu Maharaj, there was no question of reaction to past deeds. And thus the word Deva, is used here to indicate comparison to ordinary persons. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Avdyananti Mamudha. This means that sometimes people misunderstand the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be an ordinary man. The Supreme Godhead, his incarnations or his devotees may hold themselves as ordinary men, but they are never to be considered lesser. Nor should an ordinary man, not supported by authorized statements of the Shastras and Acharyas, be accepted as an incarnation or devotee. By the evidence of Shastras, Sanatana Goswami detected Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be a direct incarnation of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although Lord Chaitanya never disclosed the fact, it is therefore generally recommended that the Acharya or Guru should not be accepted as an ordinary man.
So now, the Supreme Lord has no karma. Neither the pure devotees have karma. Prarabdha karma is not there. But still, why is it described here that Sarvatra Bhogan Punya Jighasaya? What is the meaning of Bhogan Punya Jighasaya? When you enjoy, what happens? Pious activity reduce. When you suffer, impious activities, impious papa will be. But Prithu Maharaj is neither Punya nor Papa. So though he has no Punya nor Papa, because of his bhakti, he thought, he just thought, yes, let me enjoy and reduce my punya. Let me suffer, do some work and then reduce my papa. And ultimately go back to it. That was his thinking like that. He thought. Next. Yeah.
Regarding this, for practicing the Holy Sadhana, one part of the Karmali devotees
For a pure devotee who is Jivan Mukta, some prarabdhas are left so that he can continue by the will of the Lord, continue his life. Because without prarabdha, how can the body exist? So some prarabdhas are left over for that so they can breathe, he can eat, he can speak, he can talk, he can walk. By the will of the Lord. Just for the sake of for some movement to happen. The body to exist, you cannot have anything without prarabdha. Sadhaka's prarabdha will come but will not be affected by it. Has to come, there is no way. Karmani nirdhani kintuja bhakti vajam, that is prayer bhakti. Only prayer bhakti has the power to completely burn the prarabdhas. Sadhana bhakti, it has the power to burn the prarabdhas to the extent that he is not affected by it. Certain prarabdhas which are really detrimental for his spiritual progress, they are burned by the mercy of Guru. Next, 12th verse. Sarvatra Kalidadesha Saptatvipaikadandadrit Anyatra Ramanakula Anyatra Chudagotradha Sarvatra, wherever, whichever part of the world, everywhere. Adesha Sarvatra Askalita His Adesha, Adesha means his rule was Askalita. Askalita means unchallenged. Askalita it was irrevocable. Sarvatraskalita Sattva Deepaika Dandadrik. He was the ruler of Dandadrik, Saptadeepa, the 7 islands. Eka Dandadrik, he has one ruler. Anyatra Brahmakulat, Anyatra Achyuta Gotrata. Except on 2 people, Anyatra. Who are they? Brahmanas and Achyuta Gotra refers to Vaishnavas. Except for those who belong to the family of the Lord, who are equal to the Lord, that kind of Vaishnavas. Also, it refers to those Vaishnavas who don't have Varna and Ashram. Achyuta Gotra refers to him. Read the purport.
Certainly refers to the 7 great islands and continents on the surface of the globe. Asia, Europe, Africa, and North America, Australia, and New In the modern age, people are under invasion. By during the Vedic period or the prehistoric ages, America and many other parts of the world have not been described. But that is not a fact. The two Maharaj ruled over the world many thousands of years before the so-called prehistoric age. And it is clearly mentioned here that in those days, not only were all the different parts of the government, but they were ruled by one king, Arashpati. Country where Maharaj decided must have his India, because it is stated in the 11th verse of this chapter, that he lived in the tract of land between the rivers Ganga and Ganges in Yamuna. This tract of land, which is called Brahmavarta, consists of these covered in the northern areas, portions of the Punjab and northern India. It is clear that the kings of India once ruled all the world, and their day culture was varied. However, as Kalina indicates that orders by the king will not be disobeyed by anyone in the entire world. Such orders, however, were never issued to control safety persons but the residents of the Supreme Personality of order issue. The Supreme Lord is known as the Lord Bishop addressed as such by Arjuna Guru, saying to Guru Mandi, becomes far by Machita. Machita refers to one who does not fall because they never influenced by the knowledge of material nature. When a living entity falls from the material world from its original position, it becomes Chula, which means that it forgets its relationship with Chula. Actually, every living entity is a part and parcel or the sum of the Supreme Personality and Body. But influenced by the modes of material nature, a living entity forgets its relationship and thinks in terms of different species of life. But when he again comes to his present consciousness, he does not observe such bodily designations. This indicated in Pavitra 518 Pavitas and Krishna. Material designations create differentiation in terms of caste and create national leadership. Different cultures of family designations are descriptions in terms of the material body. But when one comes to Krishna consciousness, he immediately becomes one of Achyuta Gopal, or descendants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus becomes transcendent to all considerations of caste, creed, color, and nationality. Kutumara had no control over the Brahmana Kula, which refers to the learned scholars in Vedic knowledge, nor over the Vaishnavas, who are above the classifications of Vedic knowledge. It is therefore said that Sri Vishnu Shiladi, Vishnu Naramati, Vaishnavi Jati, Vishnu Vaishnava Kalimalam, Father Kirti and the Sri Vishnu Nam and Sakala Vishnu, Shabda Saman, Vishnu Sarveshwar Veshikari, Samadhi Kesara, and Sam. One takes the lady that have to be laid off in those stories. Who takes on the spiritual master in the disciplic succession as an ordinary man. Who takes the Vaishnava and the Achita Gopal, belong to a certain caste or creed. All who takes on the realm of the Ganges water as ordinary water is taken to be a resident of heaven. From the facts presented in this verse, it appears that people in general should be convinced by a king until they come to the platform of Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, who are not under the control of anyone. Brahmana refers to one who was Brahman, or a person feature of the absolute. And a Vaishnava is one who serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Next. एकदासीन्महासत्रा दिशातप्रदिवोगसा समाजो ब्रह्मर्षीणां च राजर्षीणां च सत्तमाम् एकदासीन् महासत्रा एकदा once upon a time आसीत् महासत्रा. There was a big sacrificial ceremony. Diksha Tatra Divokasam. He took Diksha, means he took a vow to perform a big sacrifice. Tatra in that place, who came? Divokasam, the demigods came. Samajo Brahmana Brahmarishinam, and all the Brahmarishis also came, along with Rajarishinam Sattamam. So there was a big sacrifice intended to Maharaj between the river Yamuna and Ganga. So the demigods participated, and also the personalities like Arjuna, Yudhishthira, many used to use it diagrams. Were there before at that time. And 14 verse. Tasmin Sakshu Sarveshu Svarchiteshu Yatha Uttishta Sadaso Madhye Taranam Udurakhiva. Ritu Maharaj, to arhateshu sarveshu swa architeshu yatarhata uttishta. What did he do? He stood up, no, in the assembly among the great persons who were sitting in the worship. And he was arhata, he was befitting. He worshipped who had been worshipped without worship befitting their status, like the moon and stars. He was like a moon, no stars. That was the glory of Uttam Maharaj. Pramushupi Nayaka Bhujo Gaurakara Tanjarunekshana Sunasa Sumuta Somya Papinasma Sudvijasmita. How was his physical features? He was very tall. Very tall. And he had long arms, also very thick. Vinayato Bhujaha Pura Kanjarunekshaha. His complexion was how? It was Gaura, it's fair. It's very Kanjarunekshana. He had reddish lotus eyes. Eyes. Like Arunekshana was raising sun. Kanjarunekshana. And how was his nose? Sunasa Sumukaha Soumya. Beautiful nose, beautiful face, and he had Viramisha Sudvija Smita. He had thick shoulders, and he had a nice smile, beautiful teeth. Then, next. Yudavaksha Brihatchoni Valivalgodalodara Avadana Virudasvi Kanchan Nuru Udatrapa Yudavaksha Brihatchoni. He had a broad chest, and his waist was very thick waist, large waist. Brihatchoni. Varivalgu Dalodaraha. His abdomen was shaped like a banyan leaf. Valgudala. Valgudala means banyan tree leaf. Udara. Avartanabi. Avartanabi. Nabi means navel. How was the navel? Avarta, it was spoiled. Very deep navel, the spoiled navel. And then his thighs, how are the thighs? Tanchanoru, thighs were like golden thighs. And not only that, Uru, Tanchanoru, Udagrapat, his feet were arched. Udagrapa means it was like, put the feet like this, like Udagrapa. Next. Sukshma Vakrasi Siddha Dhajapun Kambukandara Mahadane Dukuladriye Varekhayopaviyacha. He had Sukshma Vakrasi Snigdha. Gaja Tambu Kandaraha. His hair was black. His head was very fine and also curly. In his neck, there was like a Tambu Kandara, like a function, decorated with auspicious lines. And what was he wearing? Mahadane Mula Kladhe. He had worn a dhoti which is very valuable. There was a nice wrap over upper part of the body. He had Paridha Yoga Vidya. Paridha Upa Vidya. He had Angavastra after this. Next. Venjidashena Gatra Sri Niyame Nastabhushana Krishnan Nithara Sriman Ushabhani Kritochita. As Maharaj Prithu was being initiated to perform the sacrifice, he had to leave aside his valuable dress, and therefore his natural body beauty was visible. It was very pleasing to see him put on a black deer skin and wear a ring of Kusama. For this increased the natural beauty of the Lord. Its appearance to Maharaj observed all the regulations before the sacrifice. Then, Shishir Snigdata Raksha Samikshata Samantata Yujvyam Idam Yudhishaha Sadaha Samharshayan Niva. Just to encourage the members of the assembly and to enhance their Vajit Maharaj glanced toward them with eyes that seemed like stars in the sky, wet with dew. He then spoke to them in great voice. Charuditravadam Lakshman Pushtam Udam Akil Avikal Sarve Ram Upakatam Tada Anuvada Niva. Maharaj Prithu's speech, how was it? It was very beautiful. It was so beautiful. Charu Chitrabadam Slakshanam. Charu Chitrabadam. Salakshanam, it was full of metaphorical language. And not only that, Mrishtam Gudam, the sweet. Mishtam, Gudam. These words used. Avikalvam means it was Avikalva. It was very clear. Sarvesham Upakarartham. It was for the purpose of everybody's benefit. Tada Anuvadan Iva. Tada Anuvadan Iva. Who were all present there. The speech was so extraordinary. The expressed person could not benefit everyone. The Rajo Vacha is where starts. That is our Maharaj Prithu's speech. Pravachan of Maharaj Prithu. To all the citizens who are there. Rajo Vacha. Sabhyashunutavadram va sadhavo yadihagata satu subir dharmam avetam swamam. So he says, oh, all those people who present here, Sabhya, great fortune unto you. May all of you, great souls, so come to attend this meeting, kindly hear my prayer. Chatuhu Shikya Subir Dharmam Avedam Swa Manishitam. Please hear my prayer. A person who is jigyasuke, inquisitive, must present his decision before an assembly of the noble souls. Those who are inquisitive in purport should announce the principle which they have carefully considered. Read the purport.
In this verse, words are all great sources very significant. When a person is very great and famous, many unscrupulous persons become his enemies. For envy is the nature of things. In any meeting, there are different kinds of men. Therefore, it is to be supposed that because Ritupala was very great, he must have had several enemies present, although they did not express themselves. Maharaj Pr, however, was concerned with persons who were gentle, therefore he must address all the mass persons, not caring for the enemies. He did not, however, present himself with a royal authority empowered to command over. For he wanted to present his statement with humble submission before the assembly of great sages and saintly persons. As a great king of the entire world, he could have given them orders, but he was so humble, weak, and honest that he presented this statement for approval in order to clarify his maturity. Wilbur given this very word sufficient of the works of nature, and therefore has four defects. But although Kumar was above all is still like an ordinary condition. So we presented his statements to great source, sages and saintly persons present.
So, Ritumara, being the king, could have just ordered, yes, listen, I'm going to say everything. But he was very humble. Actually, I'm supposed to ask you what is the instruction, what is the order? Because you're all devotees and you're all very inquisitive. You should reveal dharma. After considering carefully, very nicely, you should reveal dharma. Okay. Aham dandadaro raja janamiha yojita rakshita titasveshu sveshu apadita pritaka. So, aham dandadaro raja. I am Raja, I am the king. Holding dandadara, I am the punisher, Lord as the punisher of citizens. And Prajanam iha yojitaha. I am the person who is going to protect the citizens. Rakshita Vittida Sveshu. Vittida Sveshu. I protect you by giving vritti. Vritti means employment, business opportunity, etc. Setushu Stapita Pratakya. And the establisher of the rules of dharma, Vedic injunctions, that is Varnashram. So, I am such a person. By the grace of the Lord, I have been appointed to the king, this planet. Carry the stricture, the rules of citizens, protect them from danger and give them employment opportunity with respective positions, so according to their Varna and Ashrama. Read.
The king is supposed to be appointed as supreme personality of Godhead to look after the interests of this particular planet. On every planet, there is a predominating person, just as we now see that in every country there is a president. Okay, what is the president? Our king. It should be understood that this opportunity has been given by the Lord. According to the Vedic system, the king is considered a representative of Godhead. He is often respected by citizens as God in the uniform form of love. Actually, according to Vedic information, the Supreme Lord maintains all living entities, and especially human beings, to elevate them to the highest perfection. After many births, in lower species, when a living entity walks to the human form of life, and in particular to the civilized human form of life, the society must be divided into four gradations as ordered by the Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvarnya Manas System, etc. Like the four opinion. The four social orders, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, are natural divisions of human society. And as declared by the Maharaj, every man in his respective social order must have proper employment for his livelihood. It is the duty of the king or the government to ensure that the people observe the social order and that they are also employed in their respective occupational duties. In modern times, since the protection of the government or the king has been withdrawn, social order has practically collapsed. No one knows who is a Brahman, who is a Kshatriya, who is a Vaishya, and who is a Shudra. And we claim to belong to a particular social order by birthright. It is the duty of the government to re-establish social order in terms of occupational duties and the norms of political nature, or that will make the entire modern population truly civilized. If it does not observe the institutional functions of the four social orders, human society is no better than animal society, in which there is never tranquility, peace, and prosperity, but only chaos and confusion. Maharaj Pur, as an ideal king, strictly observed the maintenance of the Vedic social order. Prajayate itra praja. The word praja refers to one who takes birth. Therefore, the Maharaj guaranteed protection of Prajana, all living and distributed birth in his kingdom. Praja refers not only to human beings but also to animals, trees, and every other living entity. It is the duty of the king to give all living entities protection and food. The fools and rascals of modern society have no knowledge of the extent of the responsibility of the government. Animals are also citizens of the land in which they happen to be born. They also have the right to continue their existence at the cost of the civil law. The disturbance of the animal population by wholesale slaughter produces a catastrophic future reaction for the butcher, his land, his government.
So, Vitumara's part that I am Yojita, I am Dandadaro Raja Prajanam Iha Yojita. Yojita means I have been engaged by the Supreme Lord to do these activities. Somebody would say, no, you are the king, why are you asking our suggestion? You should only take care of us, we should worship you, you should give us advice, you should order. He said, no, I am not the king. What he said? I have been engaged by the Supreme Lord, Yojita, to hold Gandapad, like to give danda to those who are miscreants, sinful people. And also I am engaged with the Lord to give employment to all of them. This is opportunities for all of them. I am employed by the Lord for protecting the citizens. And also I am engaged by the Lord to give occupation to all of you. I am engaged with the Lord to establish Varnashrama. So, as a king, I have a burden on my head of serving you. As a king, I have a burden on my head of serving. So, we'll take a small break. We'll be back by 12:45.
लोकाश्चोकामसंस्तोहा यस्या दुष्टदृक् Tasya me tad anushthanat yan ayur brahmavadinaha. See, for the execution of my duties, now yanahur brahmavadinaha, all the places which the followers of Vedas describe. Lokasyu kamasandoha, to fulfill the desires of everyone. Yasya tushtati diktrik will be mine, since I will please the Lord. Now, by pleasing Krishna, I am going to kamadrik, I am going to fulfill the desires of everyone. I think that upon the execution of my duties as king, I shall be able to achieve the desirable objective described by expert knowledge. These destinations are achieved by the pleasure by the Supreme Lord, who is seer of all. So he says that by doing so, what I'm going to do by ruling you, serving you, the Supreme Lord will be pleased. When the Supreme Lord is pleased, definitely is going to take me to the ultimate destination. Hmm? Hmm. Next verse. Ya uddhare karma raja Karam Yaudhare Karam Raja Prajadhatmeshu Aikshayam Prajanam Samalam Bunte Bhaktam Sa Cha Swam Jahati Sa. Now, Uddharet Karam Raja Prajadharmeshu Aikshayan Prajanam Samalam Bunte Bhagam cha swam jahati sa. Now, a king who doesn't teach the citizens about their duties, praja dharmeshu aikshayan, a king who does not teach the citizens about their respective duties in terms of varna and ashrama, instead of that, what he does, he simply takes taxes. Prajaram samalam bhungshe. Bhagam cha swam jahati sa. Takes taxes. Then from them he is liable to suffer for the impious activities which have been performed by the citizens. Bhagam cha swam jahati saha. So if the citizens are doing impious activities, then he is bound to suffer for this. And not only that, bhagam saha, he loses his misfortune. He takes the sin of others and loses his misfortune. So the first duty of the king is to give sikshita, means to give knowledge. So please read the purport.
A king, governor, or president should not take the opportunity to occupy his post without also discharging his duty. He must teach the people within the state how to observe the divisions of Varna and Ashram. If the king neglects to give such instructions and is simply satisfied with levying taxes, then those who share in the collection, namely all the government servants and the youths of the state, are liable to share in the impious activities of the general masses. The laws of nature are very subtle. For example, if one eats in a place which is very sinful, he shares in the resultant reaction of the sinful activities performed there. It is a Vedic system, therefore, for a household to call Brahmanas and Vaishnavas to eat at ceremonial performances in his house, because the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas can immunize him from sinful activities. But it is not the duty of rigid Brahmanas and Vaishnavas to accept invitations everywhere. There is, of course, no objection to taking part in feasts in which prasadam is distributed. There are many subtle laws which are practically unknown to people in general. The Krishna consciousness movement is very scientifically distributing all this Vedic knowledge for the benefit of the people of the world.
Okay. Yuyam tad anumogadvam pitre devarshayo mala kartuhu shastu anujnatas tulyam yat pretya tat phalam. Yuyam tad anumodadvam. IUM, who is addressing to? Sorry, where were we? Yeah. 25th. Tat prajavartro vindartham swartham gevanusuyava purutadvorjakshah diyas trahi me anugrah krita tat prajavartro vindartham. So first thing what Uttama has told, therefore my decision for the welfare of your king after his death, you should execute the duties of Varna and Ashrama and should always think of Supreme Personality of Godhead in your heart. Doing so, you will protect your interest and you will bestow mercy upon your king for his welfare after death. So perform your duties. Even though after I die, perform your duties. How? Swartham evanu suyataha, without any envy. For Kuru tadokshaja diyaha, adoksha diyaha, the thinker. Oh, those who are thinking of Krishna, uh, by doing so, tarhi me anugraha kritaha. By doing so, you will show mercy unto me. You will show mercy unto me. Adoksha diyaha, I mean Krishna consciousness. That means when you are become Krishna conscious, by doing so, you show mercy unto me. Just imagine, the subject become Krishna conscious. Then the king says, it is actually your mercy unto me. The whole purpose of my being a king is to make you Krishna conscious. When you become Krishna conscious, my duties have been fulfilled. See the purport.
About Shubha, who is Krishna consciousness, and very important in this verse. The king and citizen should both be Krishna conscious. Otherwise, both of them will become doomed to lower species of life after death. Our responsible government must teach Krishna consciousness very vigorously for the benefit of all. Without Krishna consciousness, neither the state nor the citizen of the state can be responsible. Pruthvi was therefore specifically requested the citizen to act in Krishna consciousness, and he was also very anxious to teach them how to become Krishna conscious. A summary of Krishna consciousness is given in Bhagavad Gita 9.27. Yat karoshi yat yashnasi yat juhoshi tadati yat yat tapasvasi kaunteya tat purusva mad arpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you do in charity, whatever means you undergo should be done in Krishna consciousness or for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If all the people of the state, including the government servants, are taught the technique of spiritual life, then all the liable to be punished is different ways by the stringent law of material nature. They will not be implicated.
When a disciple performs bhakti, guru becomes perfect. Okay, next. Yoyam. Okay. Yoyam dadanamoyadvam varsayo mala kartu shastur anugnatus tulyam tat pretya tattvalam. I request, it's my request, all the pure-hearted demigods. Yuyam tadanubodadam pitri devarshayo mala. All the demigods, forefather, and all the saintly persons amalaha, to support my proposal. Anumodadvam, whatever I have presented, please support. Please support. For after death, the result of an action is equally shared by its doer, its director, and its supporter. Kartuhu, Shastuhu, Anugyatuhu. Three people are there. Who are they? Performer, doer. Number two, person who gives order, Shastru, and one who approves. So the citizens are going to do, and I am going to order, and you are going to approve. So whatever instructions I am giving, you demigods, you approve, because you are all going to get the benefit. Huh? This is the approval. Some government officers approve, okay, approve, temple plan. It also gets benefit. Guru gives order, disciples make temple, somebody approves. Okay, you also get benefit. So, next. Asti yajnavatirnama केश्चन जानित् अर्थसत्तमा इहामुत्र च लक्ष्यन्ते ज्योत्स्यनावाव्ययः कचित् भुवः यत् अस्ति यज्ञपतिर्नाम अस्ति यज्ञपतिर्नाम what is the meaning? My dear respectable ladies and gentlemen, he's addressing whom? All the citizens there. According to the Shastras, there must be a supreme authority who is able to award the respective benefits of our present activities. Otherwise, why should there be persons who are unusually beautiful and powerful both in this life and the next life? There is an authority. Asti means one person exists, who is Yajnapati Nama. His name is Yajnapati, who gives results of sacrifices. Kenanchit Arthasattama. You can understand this by observing. Ihamutracha Lakshante. We can see Lakshante. Somebody is Yotshamamyataha. One is very beautiful. And somebody is Avyataha. Avyataha means what? Then somebody is not very Jyotsnavataha, very powerful and beautiful. And there's somebody who is not. That shows there is somebody who awards the reactions of good and bad activities. So who is that person? It's God. She is starting with like a Bhagavad Gita course we do, no? And who does God exist? Let's read the purport.
Utumara's sole aim in ruling his kingdom was to raise the citizens to the standard of God consciousness. Since there was a great assembly in the arena of sacrifice, there were different types of men present. But he was especially interested in speaking to those who were not atheists. It has already been explained in the previous verses that Prithu Maharaj advised the citizens to become Adhokshajat Diyaha, which means God conscious or Krishna conscious. And in this verse, he specifically presents the authority of Shastra, even though his father was a number one atheist who did not abide by the injunctions mentioned in the Vedic Shastras, who practically stopped all sacrificial performances, and who so disgusted the Brahmanas that they not only dethroned him but cursed and killed him. Atheistic men do not believe in the existence of God, and thus they understand everything which is happening in our daily affairs to be due to physical arrangement and chance. Atheists believe in the atheistic Sankhya philosophy of the combination of Prakriti and Purusha. They believe only in matter and hold that matter under certain conditions of amalgamation gives rise to the living force, which then appears as Purusha, the enjoyer. Then by a combination of matter and the living force, the many varieties of material manifestation come into existence. Nor do atheists believe in the injunctions of the Vedas. According to them, all the Vedic injunctions are simply theories that have no practical application in life. Taking all this into consideration, Prithu Maharaj suggested that theistic men will solidly reject the views of the atheist on the grounds that there cannot be many varieties of existence without the plan of a superior intelligence. Atheists very vaguely explain that
These varieties of existence occur simply by chance, but the theists who believe in the injunctions of the Vedas must reach all their conclusions under the directions of the under the direction of the Vedas. In the Vishnu Purana, it is said that the entire Varnashrama institution is meant to satisfy the supreme personality of Godhead. The rules and regulations set up for the execution of the duties of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, or Brahmacharis, Grahasthas, Vanaprasthas, and Sannyasis, are all meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. At the present moment, all of the so-called Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras have lost their original culture. They claim to be Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras by birthright. Yet they have rejected the proposition that such social and spiritual orders are especially meant for worship of Lord Vishnu. The dangerous Mayava theory set forth by Shankaracharya that God is impersonal does not tally with the injunction of the Vedas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore described the Mayavadi philosophers as the greatest offenders against the personality of Godhead. According to the Vedic system, one who does not abide by the orders of the Vedas is called a Nastika or atheist. When Lord Buddha preached his theory of non-violence, he was obliged to deny the authority of the Vedas. And for this reason, he was considered by the followers of the Vedas to be a Nastic. But although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very clearly enunciated that the followers of Lord Buddha's philosopher Nastikas or atheists, because of their denial of the authority of the Vedas, he considered the Shankarites who wanted to establish Vedic authority by trickery and who actually followed the Mayavad philosophy of Buddha's school to be more dangerous than the Buddhists themselves. The Shankarite philosopher's theory is that we have to imagine the shape of God is more dangerous than denial of the existence of God. Notwithstanding all the philosophical theorizing by atheists or Mayavadis, the followers of Krishna consciousness rigidly live according to the injunctions given in Bhagavad Gita, which is accepted as the essence of all Vedic scriptures. In Bhagavad Gita 1846, it is said, Yatha pravritir bhutanam yajna sarvamidam tatam swakarmanatam abhyarcha siddhim vindanti manavasu. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading man, can in the performance of his own duty attain perfection. This indicates that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original source of everything, as described in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadhyasya Ataham. The Lord himself also confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. I am the origin of everything. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original source of all emanations, and at the same time as Paramatma, he spread all our existence. The absolute truth is therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and every living being is meant to satisfy the Supreme Godhead by performing his respective duties. For Karmana Tam Abhyarcha. Maharaj Prithu wanted to introduce this formula again amongst his citizens. The most important point in human civilization is that while one engages in different occupational duties, he must try to satisfy the Supreme Lord by the execution of such duties. That is the highest perfection of life. Sanushritasya dharmasya samsiddhi haritoshanam. By discharging, if he simply satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A vivid example is Arjuna. He was a Kshatriya, his duty was to fight, and by executing his prescribed duty, he satisfied the Supreme Lord and therefore became perfect. Everyone should follow this principle. The atheists who do not are condemned in Bhagavad Gita by the following statement, Tanaham Vishatah Kruran Samsareshu Naradhaman. In this verse, it is clearly said that persons who are envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the lowest of mankind and are very mischievous. Under the regulative principles of the Supreme, such mischievous persons are thrown into the darkest region of material existence and are born of asuras or atheists. Birth after birth, such asuras go still further down, finally to animal forms like those of tigers or similar ferocious beasts. Thus, for millions of years, they have to remain in darkness without knowledge of Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Purushottama, the best of all living entities. He is a person like all other living entities, but he is the leader of the best of all living beings. That is stated in the Vedas also. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. He is the chief of all eternals, the chief of all living entities, and is complete and full. He has no need to derive benefit by interfering with the affairs of other living entities. But because he is the maintainer of all, he has a right to bring them to the proper standard so that all living entities may become happy. A father wants all of his children to become happy under his direction. Similarly, God and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has a right to see that all living entities are happy. There is no possibility of becoming happy within this material world. The Father and the Sons are eternal, but if a living entity does not come to the platform of his eternal life of bliss and knowledge, there is no question of happiness. Although Purushottama, the best of all living entities, has no benefit to derive from the common living entities, he does have the right to discriminate between their right and wrong ways. The right way is a path of activities meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As we've already discussed, samsvarishtasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. A living entity may engage in any occupational duty, but if he wants to have perfection in his duties, he must satisfy the Supreme Lord. As such, one who pleases him gets better facilities for living, but one who displeases him gets involved in undesirable situations. It is therefore concluded that there are two kinds of duties, mundane duty and duty performed for the sake of yajna or sacrifice, yajna arthat karma. Any karma activity one performs which is not for the purpose of yajna is a cause of bondage. Yajnana karmadam anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanam. Work done as a sacrifice of Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work binds one to this material world. Pavita 3.1. Karma bandhana or the bondage of karma is administered under regulations of the stringent laws of material nature. Material existence is a struggle to conquer the impediments put forth by material nature. The asuras are always fighting to overcome these impediments and by the illusory power of material nature, the foolish living entities work very hard within this material nature and take this to be happiness. This is called maya. In that hard struggle for existence, they deny the existence of the Supreme Authority, Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In order to regulate the activities of the living entities, God has given us courts. Just as a king gives courts of law in a state, and whoever breaks the law is punished. Similarly, the Lord has given the infallible knowledge of the Vedas, which are not contaminated with the four defects of human life, namely the tendency to commit mistakes, to be illusioned, to cheat, and to have imperfect senses. If we do not take direction from the Vedas, but act whimsically according to our own choice, we are sure to be punished by the laws of the Lord, who offers different types of bodies in the 84 lakh species of forms. Material existence or the sense gratification process is conducted according to the type of body we are given by Prakriti or material nature. As such, there must be divisions of pious and impious activities, punya and papa. In Bhavita 7:28, it is clearly stated, Esham dvandagatam papam, jananam punya karmanam, tedvanda mohanirmukta, bhajante mam dranavrata. One who has completely surpassed the resultant activities of the impious path of life is possible only when one engages exclusively in pious activities, can understand his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, one engages in the Lord's transcendental loving service. This life of engaging always in the loving service of the Lord is called Adokshaja Diyaha, or a life of Krishna consciousness, which King Putu meant his citizens to follow. The different varieties of life and of material existence do not come out about by chance and necessity. There are different arrangements made by the Supreme Lord in terms of the pious and impious activities of the living entities. By performing pious activities, one can take birth in a good family in a good nation. One can get a beautiful body or can become very well educated or very rich. We see therefore that in different places and in different planets there are different standards of life, bodily features and educational statuses all awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to pious or impious activities. Varieties of life therefore develop not by chance but by pre-arrangement. There is a plan which is already outlined in the Vedic knowledge. One has to take advantage of this knowledge and mold his life in such a way that at the end, especially in the human form of life, he may go back home, back to Godhead by practicing Krishna consciousness. The theory of chance can best be explained in the Vedic literature by the words Agyata Sukriti, which refer to pious activities performed without the actor's knowledge. But these are also planned. For example, Krishna comes like an ordinary human being. He comes as a devotee like Lord Chaitanya, or he sends his representative, the spiritual master or pure devotee. He is also the planned activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They come to canvas and educate, and thus a person in the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord gets a chance to mix with them, talk with them, and take lessons from them. And somehow or other, if a conditioned soul surrenders to such personalities, and by intimate association with them, chances to become Krishna conscious, is saved from the material conditions of life. Krishna therefore instructs, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaham. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction, do not fear. The word sarva papebhyo means from all sinful activities. A person who surrenders unto him by utilizing the chance to associate with the pure devotee, spiritual master, or other authorized incarnations of Godhead, like Putu Maharaj, is saved by Krishna. Then his life becomes successful.
So the first duty of the king is what? Tell the citizens there's somebody called God. They're observing him. He is a person who actually gives. So the first duty. So Prithmara says that not only I'm just telling that, even the previous acharyas and great devotees accepted that. Who are they? Who accepted that? Manoruttanapadasya Dhruvasyapi Mahipate Priyavratasya Rajarshe Anga Syasmat Pitu Pitu Idresha Idreshanam Athanyesham Adasya cha Bhavasya cha Prahladasya Baleschapi Prityam Asti Gadabrata. So all these people, this is confirmed not only by me, the Vedic evidence, not only by the Vedic evidence, but also by the personalities like Manu, Uttanapa, Dhruva, Privarta, and my grandfather Anga, as well as many other personalities. And early again, it is exemplified by Maharaj, by Prahlad Maharaj in Bali. Prahlad Maharaj in Bali, they're going to come in future now. But still, they are there, they're in scriptures. All of whom are theistic, believing in existence of Supreme Personal Godhead, who is Gadaga. Next. Dauhitradindrute mrityo shochan dharma vimohitam varga swarga pavarganam praenekatmaya hetuna. So there are many people who accept, but there are some people who are like my father. Who is he? Vena. The grandson of death personified was believed in the path of religion. All the great personalities like those mentioned agree that in this world the only bestower of benediction, religion, economic development, sense enjoyment, elevation of living planets is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Next. Starts the actual prayers in one sense. Yatpada seva viruchistapasvinam ashesha jano bhajitam malam dhiya Sadyakshino Dhyamaham Sati Yata Vadangush Pavinishita Sarit. Sarit, like the water flowing from the beak of the Lord. Padangushta Vinishita Sarit. Ganga is flowing from the foot of the Lord. Then Yatmada Seva Virjit Tapasvinam, the Tapasvinam, by the inclination to serve the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Suffering humanity can immediately be cleansed of all that. Asesha janmo pachitam malam diya sadhya kshinoti. Definitely, immediately will be destroyed by serving the Lord. Like Ganga, which emanates from the lotus feet of the Lord. Such a process immediately cleanses the mind and thus spiritual or Krishna conscious gradually increase. Yatha padangushta vinishrita sarita sadhyakshinoti anvaham yedah satihi. So the spiritual taste increases. Continue your spiritual activities. Constantly have a desire to worship the Lord. So, so you told God is there. But what do you do with the God? With this God? You should do bhakti to the Lord. Just by doing something here and there, some austerities here and there, sacrifice here and there, that is not going to give you bhakti. So after establishing God is the cause of your material benefit, yajna, book, or Igneshwara, then you don't just see God like, I do some sacrifice, he'll give me something. I do some he'll do something. If I don't, he will not give. Don't just see him like a karma phala pradata, but you should see him as what? As an object of love, bhakti, by which, by service to him, purification happens. Next. Vene Didu Vene Dutahesha Manomalappuman Asanga Vijnana Vishesha Viryavam Yadangrimunappuna Nasam Kleshavaham Prapadyate. One who takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, prapadyate, the yadangri mule, kritaketanappuna prapadyate, one who shall take shelter. With his mind, vishuddha chetasa, with his mind, mano malappuman, one who has given up the dirt in his mind, with his mind, and at the same time, he is very strong in his detachment. When a devotee takes shelter of Supreme Lord, he is completely cleansed of all mental speculation, all the mala. And what he manifests? Vijnana Vishesha Vidivanda Dangri Mole Kritaketa Chetan Punar Na Samsmritim. He is not attached to any material enjoyment. This is only possible when one is strengthened by the practice of bhakti. Once I am taking shelter of the root of the lotus feet of the Lord, a devotee never comes to this material existence. He is full of threefold miseries. Na samsmritim kleshavahan prapatyate. After taking shelter of lotus feet of the Lord, one never comes back. That means one who is captivated by the beauty of the Lord. He is not captivated with the beauty of this world. He takes shelter of the Lord and performs bhakti. Next. Tamev yuyam bhajatatmavrittivir mano vajakaya gunaisvakarnabhi. Amanakam duga pankajam yatha vikara vasistarpasiddhaya. Tameva yuyam. Prithu Maharaj told all the citizens there, you all should do, engage your mind, your words and bodies, and the results of your occupation and duties, and being always open-minded, you should all render devotional service to the Lord. Bhajata Atma Vrittibihi, Mano, Vacha, Kaya, Gunehi, Swakarmabihi, Amayinaha Kama Drugangri Pankajam. According to your abilities and occupation in which you are situated, you should engage in service to the lotus feet of Supreme Lord. With full confidence, without any amaya, without any kapata. Then you should be successful in achieving the final objective of your life. That is, yatha adhikaravastita arthasiddhaye. You will achieve the artha. Arthasiddhaye means perfection of life you will achieve. Next. Asavihanika guna dvar Pritak vidat dravya guna krito tibihi sambhadyate chalundanamare vishodha vijnana gana sarupataha asao ihanika guno advaraha. See, in sacrifice, there are many material qualities, isn't it? Advaraha, when you do the sacrifice, Supreme Personality is transcendent to not contaminated with the world. So many sacrifices are happening. But there are really some contaminations, such as ingredients are there, some colors are there, some rituals have to be there, mantras have to be chanted, many offerings have to be done to the demigod, sankalpa, nama, so many things are there. But the whole purpose of the sacrifice is to know whom? The Supreme Lord. Who is Vishuddha Vijnana Ganaswarupata. Vishuddha Vijnana is transcendental. His God, Vishuddha Vijnana, whose body is made up of Satchit and Ananda. That personality has to be recognized. Don't just get involved in the sacrifices because it's all material. Ultimately, the purpose of sacrifice is what? to realize the Supreme Lord. Hmm. Next. प्रधानकालस्य धर्मसङ्ग्रहे शरीर एषा प्रतिपद्य चेतनाम् क्रियाफलेत्वेन विभाव्यते यथा नलो दारुषु गुणात्मकः. So this Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is all pervading. But at the same time, by his energies, he is manifest in different bodies. How? Pradhana, material nature, Kala, Kalasya, then Dharma, Sangrahe, by occupation duties, Sharira Yesha Pratipadya Chetanam, Yesha Shariraha, this body, which is made up of these things, are nothing but the energy of Supreme Lord. The different types of consciousness develop, just as fire, which is always basically the same, blazes in different ways according to the shape and dimension of the firewood. Fire is one. According to firewood, you have a long flame. It's a thick firewood, then the thick flame comes. Depending on that one Lord, different types of consciousness is developed in the living entities. That means whatever you see in this world are different forms of the energies of the Lord. Next. Aho manami vitaram janugraham harim gurum yajnabhujamadishwaram swadharmayo yajanti mamaka nirantaram shinotale dridhavrata. Aho mamami vitaram anugraham. The Supreme Personality of God is the master and enjoyer of all the results of sacrifices. Yajna Bhujam Adishwaram. He is a spiritual master. He is a supreme spiritual master. He is Guru, Harim. And you all, what we are supposed to do, all of you citizens on the surface of the globe who have a relationship with me, means Mama, Ami, and are worshipping him by the dint of your occupational duties. Swadharma yogena yajanti mamaka, mamaka means all my people, yajanti mamaka, are bestowing your mercy onto me. Vitaram tanugraham mama, aho, what is that, right? By doing so, by you doing devotional service or practice, you are bestowing mercy unto me. They said, oh, we'll worship you. No, 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 no. You are actually showing mercy unto me. You are showing by performance of the occupation duties in worshipping the Supreme Lord. So humble. Majatu teja prabhaven mahavidis hite kshaya tapasa vidhaya cha dedi jita devatam kule swayam raja kula Dijan, Dijan, so now, for the purpose of establishing bhakti, Prithu Maharaj, he says, Najatu tejaha praven mahal didihis titikshaya tapasa vidyacha. Now, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas are personally glorified by their characteristics of what? What are the characteristics? Titiksha, Tapasa, Vidya, Vidya, Cha. Dedipyamane, by their spiritual effulgence, Ajita Devatanam, by the dint of the spiritual assets, Vaishnavas are more powerful than royalty. Kule Swayam Rajakula Dvijan. So these Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, they are more powerful than Rajakulat. It is therefore advised that the princely order not exhibits managerial powers before the two communities and should avoid offending them. That very powerful instruction. The manager cannot just come and say, hey, you Brahmanas, come and sit here. Cannot do that. Very, very powerful example, Brahmanas. Because they are shining with the power of tolerance, austerity, and knowledge. And the Kshatrakulas, they don't have it. Can you read the first paragraph? It will be nice. Very interesting paragraph.
Prithu Maharaj has explained in the previous verse the importance of devotional service for both the rulers and the citizens of the state. Now he explains how one can be steadily fixed in devotional service. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while instructing Srila Rupa Goswami, has compared the devotional service of the Lord with a creeper. A creeper has a feeble stem and requires the support of another tree to grow, and while growing it requires sufficient protection so that it may not be lost. While describing the system of protection for the creeper of devotional service, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has especially stressed protection from offenses unto the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. Such offenses are called Vaishnava Aparad. Aparad means offense. If one commits Vaishnava Aparad, all of his progress in devotional service will be checked. Even though one is very much advanced in devotional service, if he commits offenses at the feet of a Vaishnava, his advancement is all spoiled. In the Shastras, it is found that a very great yogi, Durvasa Muni, committed a Vaishnava Aparad and thus for one full year had to travel all over the universe, even to Vaikuntha Loka, to defend himself from the offense. At last, even when he approached the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vaikuntha, he was refused protection. Therefore, one should be very careful of Vaishnava Aparadha. Aparad is called, should be very careful about committing offenses at the feet of a Vaishnava. The most grievous type of Vaishnava Aparad is called Guru Aparad. Guru Aparad, which refers to offenses at the lotus feet of the spiritual master. In the chanting of the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this Guru Aparad is considered the most grievous offense. Gurur Avagya Sruti Sahasra Nindanam Padma Puran. Among the 10 offenses committed against the chanting of the holy name, the first offenses are disobedience of the spiritual master and blasphemy of the Vedic literature.
Yeah. Brahman Brahmanyadeva Purusha Puratano Nityam Hari Charana Charanabhivandana Avam Lakshmi Parabhavi Jagat Pavitram Jamahattamam Grani Mahattamam Grani. The Supreme Lord, who is Purusha Puratano, Purashaha Puratana, and who is he? Nityam Hari Charana Vivandana Brahmanya Devaha, obtained opulence of his staunch reputation, which purifies the entire universe by worshipping the feet of those Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Not to speak of anybody. Brahmanya Purusha Puratano Nityam Hari Charana uh, those Supreme Lord, foremost, very famous, the protector of Brahmanas, obtained eternal, undying, spontaneous fame by which purifies the entire world by worshipping whom? Worshipping their feet, worshipping the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Next. Yat sevaya sesha guhashayaswara vipra priyastushyati kamameshwara tadeva dharma pare vinitai सर्वात्मना ब्रह्मकुलं निषेव्यताम् सर्वात्मना ब्रह्मकुलं निषेव्यताम् by service to them, the Supreme Lord, who is a Guhashaya, who is everybody's heart. He is dear to Priya, who is dear to the Brahmanas. Tushyati kamam Ishvaraha. He satisfies all desires. Therefore, tadeva taddharma pare vinitaihi. Therefore, those who are following the dharma, they should serve the Brahmanas. How? Brahmakulam nishevyatam sarvatmana. Sarvatmana means with wholeheartedly serve the Brahmanas. Brahmakulam. Next. Malabhedanativelamātmana prasīdato samam svata swayam yannitya sambandharishatha param kimatrasi mukham havir bhujam. Puman labhetam tivelam atmanaha. So now, prasidatu atyanta samam swataswayam. So somebody offers food to the Lord, deva to the Lord. It takes time to be pleased. But if you offer deva or food to Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, the Lord is immediately pleased. By the regular service to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, one can clear the dirt of his heart and thus enjoy supreme peace and liberation and detachment and be satisfied. In this world, there is no fruitive activity superior to serving the Brahmana class, for this can bring pleasure to the demigods, for whom the many sacrifices are recommended. If you serve the Brahmanas, then do we have to do any other sacrifices? Not required. Not required. Because the Brahmanas are satisfied, and that will be giving you a lot of supreme peace and liberation. Next. Ashnatyananta kalutattvato vidai shraddhautamyam mukha janamavi navaidata chetanaya vai krite utashane paramahamsya paryabhu. Shnatyanantaha karutattva kovidaha. Ananta, Supreme Lord, eats through the fire sacrifices offered in the name of different demigods. He does not take as much as pleasure in eating through the fire, as much as navaitata chetanaya bahiskrite utashane. As much shraddha hutam yan mukha ijya namabhi. Accepting offerings to the mouth of the learned says in devotees. For them, he does not leave the association of devotees. Hmm? So by offering Ananta through the fire sacrifice, Swaha, Ananta, Supreme Lord, he doesn't get such satisfaction. But if you offer through the mouth of the Brahmanas, he gets more satisfaction. The Lord has eaten all the devatas are satisfied. Next. Yad Brahma Nityam Virajam Sanatanam Shraddha Tapomam Samyamai Samadhina Pradishtaye Yate Brahmadrashva Ivavabhasate. The Brahminical culture, in the Brahminical culture, Brahmana's transcendental position is eternally maintained because of the injunctions of the Vedas are accepted with faith. Why Brahmanas are given so much of respect? Because they have faith in the Vedas. They're austere, spiritual conclusions, full sense and mind control and meditation. In this way, the real goal of life is eliminated, just as one face is fully reflected in a clear mirror. Yad Brahma Nityam Virajam Sanatanam. Virajam Sanatanam. He is without contamination. From the beginning, he has faith, Shraddha, it is tapasya, Mangala, Mauna. Because of all these qualities, uh, he becomes, in this way, the real goal of life is enumerated because of him. Next. Teshamaham pada sarojarinam arya vaheya dikiri kirtima ayuhu yam nityadam vibrata shupapam nasyatyamam sarvaguna bhajan. So I beg you, the blessings of all of you, I beg the blessings of all of you, that I may perpetually carry on my crown the dust of the lotus feet of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas until the end of my life. Who can carry such dust on the head is very soon relieved from all the reactions which arise from sinful life and eventually develops all good and desirable qualities. Yannityada vibhrata Ashupapam nashyati. All the papas are destroyed. Amam sarvaguna bhajanti. All the good qualities are manifest in such a person who holds the dust of the Brahmanas on his head. Next. Gunayanam shiladanam vidatyam vruddhashayan samvadate sampada Prasivatakulam Davacha Janardana Sancharischamahyam. Guna Yanam. Whoever acquires the Brahminical qualifications, whose only wealth is good behavior, who is grateful and who takes shelter of experienced person, gets all opulence of the world. I therefore wish the Supreme Personality of Godhead and associates be pleased with the Brahmanas class, with cows and me. The result, a person and good qualities is stated. What is the result? Wealth. Everything comes. Let that Lord be pleased with me, the Brahmanas and cows. Now he stops his pravachan. Then Maitreya says, Maitreya Uvacha. Iti Bruvanam Ripatim Pitrideva Dvijataya Pushpurhashtaman Sadhuvadena Sadvaha. Sadhuvadena. The Pitris, the Devatas, the Brahmanas, the devotees, so joyful. They started praising king with the following words. How did they praise? पुत्रेण जायते लोकान् इति सत्यवती श्रुति ब्रह्मदण्डहतः पापो यत्वेनो यतत्र तत्तमः यत् they all declared that the Vedic conclusion that one can conquer the heavenly planets by the action of putra or son was fulfilled because Vena did so many sinful activities and his son, who is he? Our Ritu Maharaj. Because of activities he has proved, the Vedas have been proved. The father attains heavenly planets through his son. Vena was sinful, he was killed by the curse of the Brahmanas, isn't it? Brahma Danda Hata Papaha. Now he is delivered. Yad Veno Atyatarat Tamaha. He was delivered from Tamaha. Next, okay, 47. हिरण्यकशिपूजापि भगवन् निन्दयातं विविक्षु अत्यगाशूनो भवतः. Same thing happened before also. Hiranyakashipu, who entered hell because of his activities, because of criticizing the Lord. Bhagavan Nindayatamaha. He was delivered. How was he delivered? Because of his son Prahlad, isn't it? He was delivered by Prahlad. Veeravarya pritya Samasanjeeva Shashwati Yasye Drishyachute Bhakti Sarvalokaika Bhartari Sarvalokaika Bhartari Veeravarya Pita Prityaha. You are Pitaha, Prithviyaha Pritaha. You are the father of earth. Veeravaryaha, you are the topmost of all the Veeras. So we give you blessings. What are the blessings? Samaha Sanjeevya Shashwati. Shashwati Samaha Sanjeevya. You live for eternity, for eternal. Shashwati. Yasye Drishya Achyute Bhakti. Because you have such a great devotion to Achyuta, Supreme Lord. Sarvaloka Bhartari. Achyuta is actually maintainer of the entire world because because of his bhakti, you became the maintainer of the entire world. Then, what they say? Aho vayam yadya pavitra kirte tayaiva nathe namukunda natha yaottam shlokasya vishno brahmanyadesya katam Venantihi. Oh, Prithu Maharaj. Aho, Vayam, we all, he, Adya, Pavitra Kirte, Nathena, we have got you as our king, Nathena. You have become the possessor of a master. And you have become our master. You have taken the role of our king. Now, Yaduttama Shloka Tamasya Vishnor Brahmanya Devasya Katam Yananti. We have explained about the most praised Supreme Lord, especially the Brahmanas. Katam Yananti. What is the use of anything anybody else for us now? You have spoken everything, all the spiritual knowledge you have given. So, your reputation is the purest of all. For you are preaching the glories of the glorified personality. Got it. The Lord of the Brahmanas. Since due to our great fortune, we have you as our master. We think that we are living directly under the agency of the Lord. So, since you are the master, we are convinced that the Supreme Lord Himself is ruling us. 50th verse. Natyadbhutam idam natha tava jeevayanushāsanam prajāniragham prakrite karunātmanam. Natyadbhutam. It is not very astonishing, O Lord, that you have given such wonderful teachings to all of us. You are instructing to your servants. It is our occupational duty, it is your occupational rule over the citizens. That is not very wonderful task for a personality like you. It is not so adbhuta because of your affection to all of us. Prajanurago mahatam prakriti karuna. Your karuna, you being merciful, is your prakriti, is your nature. So we saying, oh, Prithu Maharaj is great. It's actually our mistake to tell something like that. Telling Prithu Maharaj is great is our mistake. Because you being great is not an astonishment. It is natural for you. Next. Adhyanas tamasa paras tvayopasadita prabho brahmyatam nashtavrishtinam karma virdaiva sangitai. Adhya naha tamasaha paras tvaya tvayopa sadita prabho. We have been delivered by you today. Adhyaha. Till now, we are just roaming around being entangled by this karma. Karma bir daiva sangitaha. Today you opened our eyes and reveal how to cross over the ocean of material existence. By our past deeds, karma, and with the arrangement of the Supreme Authority, we are entangled in fruitive work. And we lost our eyes. And we are being wandering in this universe here and there. So, Namo Vivruddha Sattvaya Purushaya Mahiyase Yo Brahma Kshatram Mavishya Vibhratim Swateyasa Vibhratidam Swateyasa. Namaha, with obeisances to you, who Vivruddha Sattvaya. Vivruddha Sattvaya means who possesses Shuddha Sattva, highly elevated Shuddha Sattva. Purushaya, the Supreme Lord. Mahiyase, one who is glorified. Mahiyase. Yo Brahma Kshatrama Yo means that person. Brahma Kshatram Avishya, entering into the Brahminical culture and entering into the Kshatriya body. What are you doing? Entering into the Brahmana, you maintain the entire world by your powers. So they ultimately concluded that you are the supreme lord only. It is you entered the Brahmanas. See, Prithu, Brahmanas could identify you are that Lord. The Lord whom you glorified, that Lord is nobody else other than you. Brahmanas, they paid respect to him. You entered into the Brahmana caste. And you entered in the Kshatriya caste. What do you do entering into the Brahmana caste? You support the Kshatriyas. By entering into the Kshatriya caste, you support the Brahmanas. Entering into the both, you support the entire world. That is why a close connection between the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas is very much important. Otherwise, when they fight, they will path. When they are together, everybody's. So, Purnavati should be done by Prabhupada. So read the purport.
Without the spread of Brahminical culture and without proper protection from the government, no social standard can be maintained properly. This is admitted in this verse by the citizens of Maharaj Prithu, who could maintain the wonderful situation of his government due to his position in pure goodness. The word Vibridha Sattvaya is significant. In the material world, there are three qualities, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. One has to be raised from the platform of ignorance to the platform of goodness by devotional service. There is no other means for elevating one from the lowest stage of life to the highest stage but the execution of devotional service. As advised in the previous chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, one can raise himself from the lowest position to the highest simply by associating with devotees and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly from their mouths. Srimvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Hridyantastu hi abhadrani vidnoti surisata. When one engages in devotional service in the first stages of hearing and chanting, the Lord, who is in everyone's heart, helps the devotee in cleansing his heart. In the gradual cleansing process, one is relieved of the influence of passion and ignorance and is situated on the platform of goodness. The result of association with the qualities of passion and ignorance is that one becomes lusty and greedy. But when one is elevated to the platform of goodness, he is satisfied in any condition of life and is without lust and greed. This mentality indicates one's situation on the platform of goodness. One has to transcend this goodness and raise himself to the pure goodness called Vivriddha Sattva or the advanced stage of goodness. In the advanced stage of goodness, one can become Krishna conscious. Therefore, Maharaj Prithu is addressed here as Vivriddha Sattva, or one who is situated in the transcendental position. But Maharaj Prithu, although situated in the transcendental position of a pure devotee, came down to the position of Brahmana and Kshatriya for the benefit of human society and thus gave protection to the entire world by his personal prowess. Although he was a king, a Kshatriya, because he was a Vaishnava, he was also a Brahmana. As a Brahmana, he could give proper instruction to the citizens, and as a Kshatriya, he could rightly give protection to all of them. Thus, the citizens of Maharaj Prithu were protected in all respects by the perfect king. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the fourth canto, 21st chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Instructions by Maharaj Prithu.
Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Then Bhuta Maharaj is given as an example for Archana of the 9 looks of
Yes.
how it is in what basis. Here we see only sacrifices he is doing and everything externally.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, Archana takes the form of or sacrifice and archana both the same. So when you say fire sacrifice, there is fire. But actually, along with the fire sacrifice, you offer to the deity also. Deity worship is complete only when the sacrifice is done. You don't do it, but if you see it simultaneously, it should happen. When the bhoga is offered, there should be fire sacrifice. That is standard, the Vedic system. Though it is not so compulsory in Pancharatra, but in Vedic system it is compulsory. So Prithu Maharaj, he worshipped the deity from the Lord also. Deity is called Yantra. Yantra. And what all you offer to the deity, the procedure is known as Tantra. Isn't it? So the same thing happens in the fire sacrifice, same thing happens with deity worship. Archanam. Archanam is a Pancharatric name for Yajna. Simple. Pancharatric name for Yajna, Archanam. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Verses and verses, Prithu Maharaj is saying that by taking dust of Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, one pass, that reactions go away. So does it refer to the experience of the person or the events happening?
Happens. Experience of self-realized souls are non-different from Veda. It is truth. They will not have hallucinations like us. So that is when we have our experiences mainly hallucinations. Isn't it? But the experiences of the great devotees, they are truth.
My question is that when the past reactions are gone, so the events remain same and the person does not experience the pain, or
Okay, if
Event-
somebody is all past karma is completely destroyed, gone, still is living, that means Jivan Mukta.
Yeah.
Now again repeating, third time repeating, Jivan Mukta, by the will of the Lord, the Jivan Mukta, in the Jivan Mukta consciousness, some prarabdhas are still kept for the purpose of his existence. Because if the prarabdha is not there, the body will go, everything will go. How can it be Jivan Mukta? Got it?
This is about women because here in this verse it is told that woman was delivered because the son is a devotee. In seventh canto, part two verses before what class we had today, it was called women into hell. So exactly how to reconcile this book?
Yeah, he was delivered from hell, na?
Answer. He went to hell and he was delivered from that.
Yeah, today morning was a class. Nindaya and Meno, he went to hell. That was the confusion of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Okay, Hare Krishna, Subhaprat ki jai.
Krishna. So thank you so much, Guruji, for